Hello, hello. How have my hey, I got something to say people been? I know you've been writing in about all the great things you're doing, big and small. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful you're telling me that even the small things are making a huge difference. Also, props for all of you for the workshops you've sent me and the speaking engagements and the great people for my podcast. I love you guys. And now, with much love, joy, and peace, I'm going to introduce to you my next guest. Stephanie Lee Jackson is in the house. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Sandy.
What's going on, girl? Wait. I'll tell you what's going on, girlfriend. Stephanie and well, when was it? Saturday?
Saturday. Yes.
Stephanie and I were at the Nabos 1920s. It was their 50th celebration, and the theme was 1920s. And we were just saying how awesome we all looked. We want to bring back that theme, don't we?
Yeah, those clothes are so flattering. All the women in their headbands and their fringe. Like everybody just looked great. People were just standing around posing and looking like they came off of like posters or something. It was
Right?
super fun.
It was
We need to
so
do this
much fun.
all
And
the
the
time.
women were all great. I mean, I think every time I turned my head to talk to somebody new, I was like, oh my God, these are amazing, incredible people. And then another one, and then another one. I mean, filled with so many magical ladies. It was
Yes.
it was awesome. All right. Speaking of magical ladies, let me tell you a little bit about Stephanie, which I did meet her at an ABO event too, didn't I?
Yeah.
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 Stephanie Lee Jackson founded Practical Sanctuary Sensory Interior Design. Don't you love it? When her art and healing practices converged, as a professional fine artist, she founded art spaces in New York and San Francisco, exhibiting her paintings internationally. As a massage therapist, let's just throw that in. She founded Practical Bodywork in Philadelphia and teaches at Community College of Philadelphia. Mm. Practical Sanctuary uses cutting edge neuroscience to create spaces that help you focus, heal, and emotionally regulate, which you know I'm all about, and build community. Her clients call it space therapy. I love that. Stephanie is a highly sensitive person with many friends and family on the autism spectrum. You know, I might have something in common with that. Her mission is to create inclusive environments for all neurotypes. What? Her book, The Eccentric, oh my God, I love it. The Eccentric Genius Habitat Intervention, Interior Design for Highly Sensitive People, is coming out in 2025. Stephanie, I love how it all came together. I just
I love how you project, you put your own personality into words, and it is delightful to listen to.
I don't even know I could stop myself.
That's how it works. You are already embodying the concepts of my book. You are an eccentric genius.
And I think I'm a highly sensitive person too.
I think so too.
All right. So let's get to the statement you want to tell women around the world and the men that support us. Your sensory and emotional sensitivities are the keys to your superpowers. All right. Stephanie, why'd you pick that one?
Because we arrive in this body on this planet with a nervous system. And our culture tells us that everyone's experiencing the world mostly the same way. We tend to assume that everybody around us is experiencing the world more or less the same way we are. That is not true. Everyone's nervous system is different. Everyone's sensory experience is different. And when we are having a sensory experience that is distressing, and the people around us are causing this distressing experience and acting like they're having fun, it creates conflict, it creates confusion, it creates stress, it creates poor health, poor relationships, lack of connection. And my mission is to, first of all, point that out that we're all different, give you some tools for assessing how your nervous system is really working and how that might differ from people around you, and then what to do about it, how
Yeah.
to adapt your environment to suit your nervous system, facilitate healthier relationships, facilitate healing, and facilitate connection. And that can heal the environment. It can heal your health. It can heal your community. And it starts with really simple things that you can do. It doesn't cost a ton of money. And I have a lot to say about things that cost a lot of money as well.
All right, let's pause right there because my
Okay.
people told me, Sandy, break it out in bits because they're
Yes.
doing sometimes many things, and I need to
Mhm.
recap to make sure
Mhm.
they absorb it, and there's so much to
Yes.
take in. So let's start with the
Yes.
first one. I was gonna say I'm gonna run, but not today, to your house and give you a big squeeze about not everybody comes into the freaking world the same way. They just don't.
Mhm.
And the biggest thing I want to touch on is, and I got so many questions for you because I always ask
Mhm.
my people, send in questions, is so many people say, okay, Stephanie, it's not as if I was diagnosed with blah, 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 but there are certain things that bother me. And I feel like I'm always trying to, wait, let's go with Sally Bells, justify or over explain why that irritates me or I don't feel comfortable in it.
Mhm.
Please help. I don't think you need to have a specific diagnosis to say, yeah, there's certain things that just don't work for me.
Oh, no, no. So this opens up the whole conversation about boundaries. As women,
B word.
yes, boundaries. As
So
women,
tough
we
for
are
women, the B word.
conditioned. Yes, we're conditioned to make other people comfortable. And we are conditioned to think that if we insist on being comfortable, we're high maintenance, we're too sensitive, we're too controlling. Let me tell you my story. When I was in the 90s, in the 20s, I was a graffiti artist. I was like out there doing stuff, getting arrested.
Well, I want to see pictures.
This was before we had all of these digital cameras. There are very,
Damn
very
it.
pictures
Damn
that
it. You were a
existed. Yes.
graffiti artist. I knew I loved
Or
you.
social media. Uh-huh. So I was working in a public library, and Elaine Aron's book, The Highly Sensitive Person, drifted across my
Elaine
desk.
Arison, how do you say that?
Elaine Aron.
Aaron.
Elaine and Aron, Aaron. Actually, I
Okay.
think it's just one A. Aron. Yes. The Highly Sensitive Person. If you do not have this book, I recommend buying it, taking the test.
Okay.
Because it drifted across my desk. I'm just like, oh, I'm not highly sensitive. I read it. There's a test, there's an assessment in the front. I tested 99th percentile high sensitivity. And I was like, oh, watershed moment. That is when I realized that all these things I was gritting my teeth and just powering through because I thought it was weak to set a boundary about it, were not bothering the people around me.
Okay. 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 I want everyone to get that book right now. Me too. Never
Yes.
heard of it. Need to take the test. Can
She
you
is
just
still
tell
a
us a
thought leader.
few
She's
things?
out there.
Just say a few things on your 99% list that were you like, holy crap, that's me.
Okay. Smells. Bad smells. Can't deal with it. Strong perfume. Get headache if I'm in the room with someone. Chemical smells. Even like air fresheners that are artificial. Oh my God. Headache. Headache. Emotional tension. I am a person, I walk into a room. If someone in that room is unhappy, upset, seething, something's going on, I can't relax until I have decided what to do about it. I may have to decide to ignore it, but that is still taking energy. It's taking bandwidth, and I feel drained afterward because I'm navigating this. So I'm sensing all of this. Loud noises. Oh, I'm one of those people that like boom, like something booms and I jump. I'm not like, I don't even have trauma in my past, and it still unsettles me. People who have trauma, you know,
I
I
get it.
can't even. Yeah, I
I
can't even.
don't even have, I gotta quote that. I
Yes.
gotta quote that. I don't even have trauma in, that I know of. I know of.
Right. Well, we all have some at
Yeah,
varying,
I know what you
but
mean.
but
I got
highly
it.
sensitive people tend to take things more to heart.
Yeah.
Something that wouldn't even register for a neurotypical person is something a highly sensitive person may like have to spend like years processing. And I have been through that as well. Lighting. Um, Fluorescent lighting, just again, it gives me a headache. I can't, it makes me tired. It just makes me uncomfortable. I'm aware of all kinds of signals, status cues, and people are status signaling when there's an environment that's like got all of these cues like, oh, this is for us important people. I pick up on that and I have to decide what to do about it, you know?
Mm,
I'm a morally speaking of Quaker ancestry, I'm very egalitarian. I don't like status hierarchies, and so when people are like jockeying for status, I have to decide what to do about that. So there's a huge range of things.
yeah. So important. I wish I knew about that years ago, but it's never.
I'm surprised you didn't. I'm glad I could bring it to you.
I
It's
I
an
I have
very
books everywhere. My
important.
husband's like, "How much self-help can one person need?" Because I have
Yeah.
books and books and books, and I always come on and go, "Wait a minute. I never heard of that book." Okay. All right. So you find this out. Now
Yes.
you understand a little bit more about you.
Understand
Then
about
what?
myself. Then it's a question of being like, wait a minute, this is really bothering me in ways it's not bothering the people around me. So I'm responsible for naming that, owning it, and setting boundaries that make me comfortable.
Mm,
It may not be about controlling people, it just may be getting out.
yeah.
I would, go out, you go out partying, you go to clubs, you're out till 2, 3 in the morning. After I read that book, I'm like, I'm out of here by 11 p.m. tops. I don't care who makes fun of me.
Gotcha.
I'm going home. If the music is too loud, if there are people smoking, if there are people like tweaking out, doing drugs or something, like I don't need to be around this. I can leave. It's okay.
Yeah.
Since I have been working with clients and even since I've been working on my book, people I talk to about this tell me that they have given themselves permission either to get out of a situation or to ask for something to be changed. My book editor just told me last week she was in a restaurant where there was this high-pitched squeaking noise that she could hear. It was driving her crazy and other people couldn't hear it. And she was like, talk to the management about it. She felt like she was being seen as crazy, but then when someone else heard it, they took action. They found the source of the noise, they stopped it. And we have power.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once we own our sensory experience, we have the power to do something about it. But we have to resist gaslighting, right? Because if someone else can't perceive it or if it's convenient for them not to deal with it, they will just tell us we're too sensitive or that we're crazy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to tell you a story about my conversation with my son, who's 21, after you and I spoke.
Yes.
So enlightening. My son,
Yeah.
Cole, is on the autism spectrum, but he's on the high end. So to the visible eye, he could go undetected. Matter of fact, we didn't know till he was a sophomore in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Yes.
he's at Tyler R. I didn't know what it was, but I'm all about you're not me. And whatever you feels comfortable you, that's what we deal with. And ever since he was younger, he could be in a group, family group, a family gathering for his birthday, but By 2 hours, he was done. He was out.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
all he could take.
Right.
And he would tap me on the leg and he'd say, Mom, I said, just go. And different places, or he wouldn't want to go to big weddings or
Yes.
exactly what you said, fluorescent lighting, all the
Mm.
things that you described, everything. Highly sensitive, could tell if you were sad, happy from miles away.
Mhm.
Very in tune, very different type of kid. And I got hit hard by so many family members because he's an only child telling me, you're spoiling him. You should make him stay. Blah, 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 blah. He should. And I'm like, you don't know this kid. He's a people pleaser.
Mhm.
He's not somebody that just wants to, right? So
Oh,
for
yeah.
years, I would defend him and just go. If you can't, you're not up to that, not even knowing what,
Mhm.
but just know maybe he had
Mhm.
social anxiety. Isn't it sad? And this is what I think. Cole and I were talking about it. Because, Mom, isn't it sad that had to take for me to get an autism diagnosis for people
Right.
to be okay now with it?
Right. Yes. It's one of the
I
reasons I
told
wrote
him
the
what you
book.
said. He goes,
Uh-huh.
Mom, I'm so glad she's writing that book. I'm so glad because you shouldn't
Yeah.
have to.
You shouldn't have to justify it. Yes.
He's not being selfish. Oh, you
Uh-huh.
should teach him. You should. I know my
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. Just being in a social environment is hard enough. We have to be in tune with other people. We can't not do that.
Correct.
And people who are not as sensory sensitive or as emotional sensitive just last longer because you're gaining energy from the situation. People who are more sensitive are using energy to
Yeah.
be in that situation. At a certain time, your battery is just tapped. You're done. And if you try to keep going at that point, bad things happen. That's when you have meltdowns. That's when you get into conflict. That's when you get sick. That's when relationships start to fray. So if we know this about ourselves, we're doing everyone a favor by taking care of ourselves.
All right. I have a question for you because it came in over, and it's actually a question I have too. But I have so many people who said the same thing. Now, again, keep in mind, I love these people. They've been following me for a while, but I don't know the answer to this. And I was hoping you could help me. And maybe not. What? I get it. Most people, you're coming from your perspective, right? You're coming from your background, how you are, how you raised your children, how you did this. But it boggles my brain how people, and I don't know how to explain it. I've tried every which way but sideways. How can you help others see that not everyone's like you and put yourself in their situation to understand that they are different than you? They are wired different than you. And we've tried multiple times with different people. And I got frustrations from a lot of my viewers. They don't know how to help someone say, but I'm not you, but they're not your kid, but they're not this, because so many people say, well, I would have, and if it was me, and I don't know how to explain it any differently. And even with me, and I never, if I'm coming from anger, 99% of the time, I don't say anything. But even from love, I'm doing a bad job of it, Stephanie. I don't know how. And it's funny that I got so many
Okay,
questions about
Sandy.
that.
All right. If you're trying to change someone else,
We're just getting to say we're not you.
right. Uh, Own it. Powerful people don't explain.
Oh. All right, people. We got to stop explaining. All right. Powerful.
Yeah.
Let's put that everywhere. Powerful people don't explain. So it's not even like I thought it was going to change. I was trying to get them to understand people are
You don't
different.
get people to understand. They're going to understand when something hurts them badly enough that they have to stop and think.
Okay. Let's start with the first pearl wisdom. Powerful people. I'm going to make posters all over my office. Don't explain. Now go in depth about that a little bit more.
Have you ever noticed that the most important person in the room talks the least, unless they're the one with the microphone? You go into a board meeting. It's the president that says, okay, now you give me your report. You give me your report. What's happening there? What's happening there? What's happening there? The person with the least power is the one going, I need this, I need this, I need this. The more you know that you're doing what you need to do, you know what your boundaries are, you know what you need, the more you can just say, no, we're leaving now. Really nice to see you. We got to go. You don't explain. The more you say, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I got to get out of here. Like, that's really bothering me. Really good to see you. You don't explain. You don't try to get them to see. Setting a boundary does not mean controlling another person. It's like, if this gets too much for me, I will leave. That is my boundary. You can feel the way you feel about it. You can think what you think about it. I'm doing what I need to do. And I hope you can understand. I hope you know I love you. I'm doing what I need to do. And when you do what you need to do for your own well-being, people get mad and then they stop and realize they're mad because they feel like they can't do what they need to do for their own well-being.
Yeah, they're boxed in.
Just gave them permission.
So to recap, there's some people like, that you talk to them and they go, oh, thank you for explaining. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's great.
Right.
But if they're not getting it,
if they're not getting it,
boom.
Distance.
You know what it is? And I have to admit, it is, I'm going to just admit to everyone, it's my sticky wicket. I call it my sticky wicket though. I am an extreme extrovert. Like Saturday night, the more people I'm around, my energy keeps going up. It doesn't, you know how people say I get drained, I need to.
Yeah.
It goes up, it goes up, it goes up, and it keeps going up.
Wow. That's a superpower. Really.
And the more that I'm alone, I go out and talk to people at like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, because during COVID, it was not happy for me. But I live with introverts, my husband and my son. This is why this is a sticky wicket for me. I get them and they're totally opposite than me. So I don't understand why other people don't get people that are so different from them, because they are so opposite from me. And I never think, well, you should do. So I couldn't understand why the rest of the world wasn't doing that.
You were born pretty evolved already. People have growth paths in life and we're all at a different spot, and that's just fine.
I've had 10,000 lives. I got it.
Yeah, there were things you were just born knowing that many, many souls have simply not encountered yet.
Okay. That helps me a lot. Now it's shed light. So powerful people do not explain. And I can't wait to call one of my friends, because we were with another girlfriend and we thought, what the heck? She did not stop talking about all her accolades. And we were like, okay, I got nothing. And I love to talk. And I got no words in. And my friend left. She goes, "Is something wrong with, call her Bitty Boop?" I'm like, that was too much chatter. And you named it. Something was off that she had to overcompensate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, and we've all been there,
Something's going on.
Yeah, sure. You got
to reach out and give her hugs and kisses. Yeah. All right. So I really need you to tell the story. I love this story about how you evolved from that to the massage to what you were doing, because you were more excited about creating the space. Not that you didn't love your massage clients.
Yeah.
Tell us.
Yeah. Well, I was a fine artist for 25 years, and I was the kind of person that, like, a certain age, I'm like, I am an artist. I cannot be anything else. This is the path.
Right.
And, a lot of people say that in their teens and 20s. And then, like, a lot of my peers did that. And then, 25, 26. Oh, I decided to go to law school. Oh, I decided to go to medical school. Oh, I'm getting an MBA. And I'm just like, I'm never doing anything else. And I stuck with it. I founded those art spaces, took myself to Mexico on a self-directed artist residency, moved to New York, did the art thing, didn't make money, painted, blogged, got behind the scenes in the art world. And I was just like, yes, this is it. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Ignored all the red flags, and there were a lot of them. 2009, the economy has tanked. I'm in New York. My rent is astronomical. I have my daughter via C-section, so I'm making money selling art and doing massage. No one's buying art. I can't do massage because my belly's been cut open and I have an infant. And her dad is in IT consulting in the financial industry. His job's evaporated. So by the time she's 9 months old, I've maxed out my credit paying rent.
Oof.
My car drops its transmission on the New Jersey Turnpike. I'm like, we are moving in with my mother-in-law in South Philly because that is our best option. At that point, that's rock bottom for me. Living in a basement in South Philly with my mother-in-law,
Yeah, with your mom and go.
old, and an unemployed partner.
Yeah.
And the art world is not taking care of me. And I have, at this point, seen behind the curtain enough in the art world to know that with my values, I cannot make a niche in the art world, and they do not want someone with my values in this world. It is rigged, it is corrupt, it is entirely ego-based.
Oh.
And I'm doing art for, empowerment and healing.
Mm.
And that is derided in the New York art world. They are funded by money laundering for the kind of people that they like to protest against. So I know this because I have gotten close enough to where the sausage is made that I know this is true. So I am.
Wait, did you just say I got close enough to where the sausage was made?
Sausages, yes, the
I love that.
world sausage, the stuff that you get in galleries, and you're just like, why is this in a gallery? Well, I know why it's in the gallery, and it's not because anyone actually likes the art.
Okay. All
So
right.
like I had to reinvent myself from rock bottom. I was gone from my support network. I was not particularly employable, and there were no jobs, right? Because it's a massive
And
reception.
you got a baby.
Yeah, and I'm a new mom at an older age, and her father is having a breakdown and turning down work.
Okay. Wait,
So I have to learn some. Yes, exactly. I was just like, deep breath. Time to
getting palpitations. It's not even there anymore. Okay, go ahead.
Right. Right.
That's a lot, man.
It was a lot. It was a lot. I spent a lot of time going, where did I go wrong?
Of course, of course.
All those people who told me that I should not continue on this path, maybe they were right.
Oh God.
So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I have to reinvent myself. And I started learning marketing skills. I'm like, okay, I'll take my massage business seriously as a business and not just a way to keep the lights on while I paint. And that turned out to be unexpectedly creative. And only a year or so in, one of my massage clients said, Stephanie, I just love that painting in your studio. Would you do something on my stairs? And I'm like, nope, not doing that, not making art. She's like, I'll write you a check for a deposit. I'm like, do that. I do that.
It's on the table. What?
Yes. And working with her in her space, with her vision, knowing who she is as a person. And we talked, we had the best time when I was working in her space. And I realized this is what I was born to do. It wasn't just about making this object that you hang on a wall and then try to sell. It was about her stairs, the colors she picked, the idea she had, her personality, me being with her, and then doing this whole holistic thing where it was like creating this experience and this art installation with all these skills I had acquired from all these years of painting. I knew color, I knew design, I knew shape. I could, I can do the beautiful lines, I can make it look, amazing. But it was for her, and that was the missing piece. The connection, like the needing to connect with people that I care about with creating
Mm.
energy and beauty in their space. And I was like, this is what I was born to do. So I started applying all those marketing skills to a new business, which was design, interior design. And as I continued with that, I recognized that I had another superpower, which was understanding the human nervous system,
Mm.
understanding how people relate to their environment and how it's affecting them, even if they don't necessarily peg it as such.
Yeah.
And that no one is dealing with these environmental irritants, because at that point I'd known for quite a while that I was highly sensitive, and my brother-in-law was on the spectrum and was an architect, and so he was very, very aware. So I learned a lot from him that no one was doing that. And I sat down with a friend who was a special ed uh IEP advocate,
Mm-hmm.
and I told her what I was doing, and she said, Stephanie, what you're doing is called sensory interior design. And I was like, okay, thank you for that. That is what I am doing.
It's awesome.
So like the world just kind of like funneled me here. I had other plans.
Yeah. But it had to go in that order for it to
It
get
did.
there.
It did. Yes.
I love that. And it's so important. And I cannot tell you how many times I hear people say to me, they didn't know it. They're not like so bad, like with fluorescent lighting and other things, but
Mhm,
then they'll go to
mhm,
work in a place that doesn't have it. And all of
mhm.
a sudden they feel calmer and more
Yeah.
relaxed.
Right. Yes.
But it's not to the point where it's like,
Yeah. Yeah, you can tolerate it, but you're
yeah,
using energy to tolerate it, and that's
yeah,
taking energy from
yeah,
all the other things you could be doing
yeah,
and all the things you can be giving to other people.
yeah,
If I'm just like holding it together, just being here, you better bet I'm not going to have a good conversation. I'm not going to connect with someone. I'm not going to like find out who they
yeah,
are. I'm just like dealing.
yeah. There's people, and I don't know, like my husband loves the TV or noise on in the background, right?
Hmm.
I don't know if it's relaxed him or whatever, but
Yeah.
me, my husband's in the office in the city, my son's at school, there's no noise. I love it.
Yes.
It's very,
Okay, let me ask you, when your husband has the TV on in the background at home, do
Mhm.
you have any noise canceling headphones that you can put on?
Well, he's really good in that. So we're lucky in that the way the house is, he could be in the one room and I could, if the TV's up loud, but he turns it down now. So if we're in the same
Okay.
room, it's not as loud.
As loud. Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I'm in the other room, I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but I have a fan.
Oh,
And
white
I
noise. Yes.
yes.
Hmm.
So if
Yeah.
he's in that room, in the middle room, I'll put on white noise and that's all I need.
There you go. Yeah.
My
Good.
son does the same thing. He'll
Hmm.
use the fan. We realized like that's all
Hmm.
I need. And now I can't hear anything but that white noise and it's very
Yeah.
soothing.
Right. And you figured it out. You used a sensory hack, didn't cost you money. You solved the problem for yourself because you were aware of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't like fluorescent lighting. But yet on the opposite, so like I'm so different because I love people and I love
Mhm.
crowds and so that's totally different.
That's totally different, and everyone is totally different. You have all these different combinations of
Yep,
characteristics. It's not like a sensitive person is like this and a
yep,
neurotypical person is like this. We all have spectrums in every sense, and
yeah,
our temperaments are all different. Like it's infinite number of combinations,
yeah,
which is why I feel like it's important to sit down and figure out where you're sensitive, where you're maybe less sensitive than other people, like because those sensitivities are the key to your superpowers. And all of us have different ones.
It just I keep seeing this over and over again. Like, just own it. Like, again, we hear it all the time, but just own who you are.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
don't need to, for I think a lot of people, it's what you just said. We're just tolerating it. It
Hmm.
irritates us.
Tolerance is not the ideal. It's seen as this great thing. It's like, no, tolerance is like you're gritting your teeth.
Yeah,
There's acceptance,
yeah.
and then there are boundaries.
And I don't I'm not saying it's more women than men, but I do feel like so many women feel like I'll just suck it up. I can get through it. I don't want to
Hmm.
be the pain in the butt.
Right, right.
I don't want to seem like someone who's I hear
Hmm.
it all the time. I don't want to be high maintenance.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. We've been conditioned. Our whole culture, our whole species has conditioned women to be the accommodators.
Yeah, yeah.
And no one's going to give us power. We have to take it. And
That's
setting
so
a
true.
boundary is a way of owning your needs, which is giving you your power, which is empowering you. And you're not being aggressive. You're not going out there and shooting someone. You're just saying, no, I don't need to be here.
Right. We went over time, but this is so valuable. I've never
I'm sure you can cut this down.
no,
Yeah.
no, no. I've never had somebody on ever with this topic ever in all my years. All right, but I want to make sure we get this in. Your space can be the key to unlocking those superpowers, your genius habitat, which you talked about. You
Mhm.
create your genius habitat by paying attention to your own sensory and emotional experience. You have everything you need to start right now. And we did touch on some of that. But before we go, is there anything you want to add to that?
What I want to add speaks to that last, that you have everything you need right now. I just saw my doctor this morning, and she is a private practice doctor in a low income demographic. Her office is tiny, it is not glamorous, she is cheap, she takes Medicaid. And she was telling me that she's one of the last of those doctors. She can't find anyone to give her practice to because the economics are not attractive.
I
And I
believe
told
it.
her what I was doing. And she's like, so, well, so what about these people that can't afford anything? I'm like, that is the point. I was an artist. I furnished my space out of dumpsters. I lived on nothing. I cooked on hot plates. You can take entitlement, you can take power by owning who you are, your experience, your needs, your sensory
Mm,
characteristics are your creative raw material. Just owning that. Start right now with what you have. I go into clients' homes. I don't tell them to buy things. I just rearrange things.
mm,
I find stuff that we can repurpose,
mm.
reuse, recycle, upcycle. You have what you need right now. It's just a question of taking creative entitlement over what you have and
Mm.
using it to suit your needs rather than working to serve the needs of the system around you.
Stephanie, this has been incredible. I just want you to know that. You're incredible.
You're incredible, Sandy. You ask the best questions, you know the
Well,
best people, and you get it. I
I
really
get, well,
appreciate
I
you.
get it. And this is near and dear to my heart. I'm so happy you're writing this book. When will it be? I know you said 2025. Do we have, or we're not sure?
We're not sure because we're doing this on a shoestring budget.
Okay.
I will say that the copy is in the finishing stages. There's a visual design to happen. Uh, and I would say let's expect September.
Okay.
And you can go to my website, you can get on my list, and when it is ready for launch, you will be notified.
Okay. So that being said, where can they find you if they want to hire you or keep their eyes out for the book?
Yeah.
Tell us your website, social media, everything.
Right, right. Best thing, go to my website, practicalsanctuary.com.
Okay.
Got links to my social media. LinkedIn is the best place to follow me because I do thought leadership there. It all propagates, but I'm a little lazier with the rest of the social media. And get on my mailing list. You can sign up for a free Q&A consultation on my website.
Woo!
If you think you might need some help and you don't know if you want to spend the money, sign up. We'll spend half an hour talking. You can ask I'll ask you a lot of questions, and we'll get to know each other. So I would love to meet some of your listeners.
Yeah, they're cool people. All right, you guys will get along swimmingly. All right, hey, I got something to say, people. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. Stephanie and I would really, really appreciate you following, rating, liking it. And I always forget subscribe. That's so important.
Completely.
I only started
Already done
saying
it.
it on the last
Already done
month.
it, Sandy.
And you know what I'm going to say? Until next time. Toodles. Bye,
Toodaloo.
Stephanie.
Bye-bye, Sandy.